Give you another example of how Newsmax has just lost their fucking mind. So, Greg Kelly, Congress is focused on scandal. 22,000 views of this clip. I'm still in shooting distance, and they have a whole network. Just saying. Okay. Let's see. I'm gonna do this real quick. Hold on. Move this guy over here. It's a little better. And this is, well, let's see. Hold on. I have to put this over here. This is Greg Kelly. I think, yeah, hold on. Donald Trump's impeachment was a waste of time. Think about what we could have done for the world, for Ukraine, instead of debating this monetary. The phone call. Okay, so this is about the Zelensky phone call, which is when Trump literally answered Zelensky's call for javelins with, okay, I'm going to need you to do us a favor, though. A favor that Zelensky didn't end up doing, and Trump withheld the funding till the very last second because he had to give it out, or he would have effectively, it would have drawn attention to the fact that he was holding it back, and this was all in secret.
All I can say is that the fake news just doesn't get...
Jesus Christ. Greg, call your father. Apologize. Get back together. This is embarrassing. I've seen strippers with fewer daddy issues.
Do they? And the fake news right now really is...
Look at this graphic. Holy shit. The fake news, calling out fake news. Look at all this stuff. You can tell it's fake news. I listed everybody, including Fox, because fuck those guys.
Sure. They haven't been telling their people the truth. And when the truth tries to get slipped in there...
When the truth tries to get slipped in there, this man talks for a living.
Everyone freaks out.
Everyone freaks out.
Российский премьер подчеркнул, надо усилить сотрудничество в рамках союзного государства, а на совещании в правительстве обсуждали, как сохранить доступность лекарств.
First of all, that's Russian television, fucko.
So in America, if you did that, well, you see it all the time. People, that's like a Baba Booey situation. Oh,
yeah, that's what it is. It's just a Baba Booey saying no war on a state-run network that the government fucking controls.
For there, this is as bad as it gets, and she is in potentially a great deal of trouble. Her name is...
She is,
Marina. And she was arrested, subject of a pre-investigation check, whatever that is, interrogated by police for 14 hours, just fine so far. Look, she seems happy right now, by the way, and here she is with her lawyer. We're just afraid that she's going to be shipped off to the gulag or be fed a little bit of arsenic for lunch. We hope she's okay.
Jesus Christ, dude. I'm overwhelmed with how much you care for her.
The whole world knows what her name is and knows what she looks like. Again, in America, you'd go on the Jimmy Fallon show after something like this. Here, she's in big time.
I'm sorry. I'm sorry, Greg. I thought we were basically Russia right now. I mean, the way the convoy was treated, these are Auschwitz trains, right?
Danger. Also, did you hear about the TikTokers who met with President Biden, or at least his team?
Oh my God, TikTokers. I mean, this is definitely on the same level as a woman who is probably going to jail for 15 years for holding up a cardboard sign or a placard in front
of the White House. I can't figure out these TikTokers. They're...
Yeah, the kids today, and they're talking.
Ordinary. I don't find it that entertaining, but they have like gazillions of followers.
Unlike you.
And now they're armed with Biden administration talking points.
Yeah, that's what it is. Biden administration, not American talking points. No, Biden administration talking points.
I had the opportunity to ask the White House why gas down the street is $7, and here's what they said. The obvious reason: we're getting out of a 2-year pandemic. When use goes up, price goes up.
There is a substantial amount of Russian propaganda and just misinformation on this app. And thankfully, the White House
That's true.
is reaching out to creators to dispel that misinformation.
Uh-huh. You ever watch Chinese TikTok? Holy shit.
They hope that this crisis at least raises the public consciousness around geopolitical issues throughout the world, and that even though Americans may not be proud of other things the United States has done globally, that they hope that we can look back on this moment and see how the United States rallied the West to stand up.
Yes, they're relating what they were told. They're not like, I had this idea, and lying about the fact that they met with the White House. This fucker's got the White House in the background.
Against Russia and be proud of that.
All right, eat your heart out, Walter Cronkite. Look, just because you're cool.
Okay, so somebody's upset they didn't get invited and has just decided now that TikTok might be the future.
Doesn't mean you're hip, all right? Doesn't mean you're hip. And just...
No, not. If anybody knows hip, it's Greg Kelly, who looks like a Fisher-Price man in a purple tie.
Outed off a bunch of talking points, and quite frankly, you should have dug a little bit deeper. Meanwhile...
Oh, sorry. Dug a little deeper. So we shouldn't be proud of how we're supporting Ukraine? Is that what you're saying? Or that gas prices aren't up because we've just come out of a pandemic and there's a supply and demand issue? Which part?
About all this stuff, you know what I've been thinking about?
Masturbating on the bus again?
The phony impeachment of Donald Trump over phone call to...
This war was a long time coming. What?
Zelensky.
Hello, President of Ukraine.
Just when it became a public issue, Trump released the transcript.
Yeah, it's not a verbatim transcript. If I may. Let's hold on one second. Oh, thank you very much, Isabel. There you go. That's frozen for some reason. Very strange. Internet here is very funky. So hold on one second. Trump, Zelensky, where are we? Zelensky transcript. So, yeah, here you go. Trump, here you go. Yeah, so this is the transcript. Memorandum. See this? This is what he's talking about. I'd like you to take a look at this part right here. We've talked about this before, but it's an important little piece of it. See this? A memorandum of a telephone conversation, telecon, is not a verbatim transcript of a discussion. The text in this document records the notes and recollections of Situation Room duty officers and NSC policy staff assigned to listen and memorialize the conversation in written form as the conversation takes place. A number of factors can affect the accuracy of the record, including poor telecommunications connections, variations in accent and or interpretation. The word inaudible is used to indicate portions of conversation that the note taker was unable to hear. Also, if you'll notice, hold on one second, let me slide this down here. If you go down this part, there's a couple of areas where it just says ... That's redacted stuff. They just decided to do that instead of putting a black line through stuff. And if you'll go, let's see. Let's see. We are buying American oil. We have a very future meeting. We'd like to do this. I have a good idea for you to travel to Ukraine. Okay, this is before here. Let's see. Discuss further opportunities. Oh, it's up earlier. Okay, it's in this. Yeah, here you go. This part right here. We are ready to continue to cooperate for the next step. Specifically, we are almost ready to buy more javelins. Let me shrink this down a little bit so you guys can see this. We are almost ready to buy more javelins from the United States for defense purposes. They know that they're in danger. They didn't get a White House meeting. He's been stiff-arming NATO. Nobody's coming to the rescue, but we definitely need some javelins if these motherfuckers try to move in. What's Trump's immediate response to buy more javelins from the United States for defense purposes? The very next sentence. I would like you to do us a favor, though, because our country has been through a lot and Ukraine knows a lot about it. I would like you to find out what happened with this whole situation with Ukraine. They say CrowdStrike. I guess you have one of your wealthy people, the server. They say Ukraine has it. There are a lot of things that went on. The whole situation, I think you're surrounding yourself with the same people. I would like to have the Attorney General call you or your people, and I would like you to get to the bottom of it. As you saw yesterday, the whole nonsense ended with a very poor performance by a man named Robert Mueller. That's his whole piece of this. It's very important that we open for any future cooperation. We're ready to open a new page on cooperation relations with the United States. He's talking in very generic terms, and Trump basically goes back and like, I'm going to send Rudy Giuliani down to talk to you. Here you go. Good, because I heard you had a prosecutor who was very good and he was shut down, and that's really unfair. That guy wasn't shut down. He was a fucking sock puppet for Russia. He split. A lot of people are talking about that, the way they shut your very good prosecutor down and you had some very bad people involved. Mr. Giuliani is a highly respected man. He was the mayor of New York City, a great mayor. I would like him to call you. I will ask him to call you along with the Attorney General. Rudy very much knows what's happening, and he is a very capable guy. If you could speak to him, that would be great. So Rudy's supposed to handle the criminal part of this conversation. But the immediate response was, I'd like to buy more javelins. And what was Trump's response? Okay, but you're going to have to do us a favor, though. You want the javelins? You're going to need to do me a favor. And the favor, beg your pardon, the favor is to do this. What Rudy ultimately asked him to do was do a press briefing saying we're investigating the Bidens. He wanted a redux of the Hillary Comey press conference.
White House, and everybody could see it. It was so official.
It was so official, and it says it's not a verbatim transcript. There is a verbatim transcript. That's on a secret server called the NICE server.
It was obvious in moments that this was not inappropriate. It certainly wasn't impeachable.
Yes, it was.
But how much?
Yeah, it was, because he got impeached. He just wasn't removed from office. He got impeached. He was impeached. He was impeached with cause. The Republicans in the Senate kept him from being removed from office.
Time as a country did we waste on it?
We didn't waste any time on it. We dealt with it.
Do you remember those?
Yes, I do.
Hearings, the trial? It was all a waste of time.
No, it was not. It was a recognition that what he did was wrong and criminal. You don't get to get away with shit just because you're Greg Kelly's favorite daddy replacement.
Think about what we could have done for the world, for Ukraine, if instead of debating this ridiculous momentary phone call, it wasn't ridiculous, it was fine, just doing something for the security of Europe.
We did lots of stuff. Trump was stonewalling it all along.
Our lawmakers are kind of supposed to do things like that.
They do. This didn't eat up every waking minute. They passed bills while this shit happened.
Serious issues. Going forward, what were we doing last summer? January 6th. Remember that those cops? It was all
Yes.
about January 6th.
Right. You know, one of the best ways to handle this is if January 6th had never fucking happened.
Why did they choose these issues? Because
they didn't choose them. They fucking happened. Trump chose these issues. Trump chose to bully Zelensky and try to manipulate him to get compromat, and failed on his political opponent. He also told his people, we're going to go down there, walk down there peacefully and patriotically, but if we get down there and we don't like what they're doing, we're going to have to stand very strong or you won't have a country left, and I'm going to go down there with you.
They're easy to understand. There's a narrative. I mean, talking about arms shipments to, talking about helping Ukraine, genuinely helping Ukraine, enhancing Eastern European security. That's boring. This stuff,
what are you talking about? Trump interfered with it. The Congress had already passed the funding. They had already agreed to the money. The Congress had already signed off on it for them to buy more javelins. Trump was withholding the money illegally.
It's a scandal. And oh, by the way, while this stuff was going on,
but that was a scandal too.
What was Vladimir Putin doing? He had just met with Joe Biden, okay? And I think the wheels were turning. Actually,
Yes, that he wasn't going to be handed Ukraine and he was going to have to take it. And if he didn't do it this time, he's going to be ousted from office.
Last July, he put out a very interesting, basically an announcement of what he wanted to do. Take a look. Number one fact is crystal clear. Russia was robbed indeed. Talking about Ukraine, all right?
Yeah, so he clearly came up with this because this isn't an idea he's had in his head for a long time. This is because Biden is weak that he came up with this.
Next, if economic ties between our countries had been retained, Ukraine would enjoy the benefit of tens of billions of dollars.
Yeah, as opposed to hundreds of billions of dollars with Europe.
Next, finally, I am confident that true sovereignty of Ukraine is possible only in partnership with Russia.
Yes, I think the only way you're going to leave here is if you and I get in this car together. Yes, the carjacking form of freedom.
This is code for he wants Ukraine back, all right? He said.
Right, which he did not dream up in the last 12 months.
And it's interesting, this letter came out right after he met with Joe Biden, okay? They had that meeting over
Right, because he was not going to be able to just take it.
there. And you tell me, I just don't think that Vladimir Putin was particularly impressed, all right?
Well, he was wrong. Apparently, he miscalculated the same way he made his battle plan.
When they sat together, he was like, I've got this guy figured out.
And he didn't. He got fucked into a cocked hat.
That's my sense. That's
Well, you don't have any, so that makes sense.
the takeaway. Once again, this country focuses on the trivial when it should be focused on the important.
Dude, you're just wasted a minute and a half talking about that you thought they had a meeting where Putin assessed that Biden wasn't serious, so he wrote this letter, and look how he's sitting.
Our obsession with scandal,
With actual crimes.
with silly stuff like that phone call.
Well, Trump is an inserious person, so he is indeed silly, but fuck you.
It takes our eye off the ball. You know,
No, it doesn't. Again, the money for Ukraine had already been allotted. Trump was holding it back. January 6th was a real attack on the Capitol. It was shitty. It's one of the reasons why Trump says Afghanistan was the most embarrassing thing that happened to our country, because Sean Hannity and others told Trump that January 6th was the most embarrassing thing that had ever happened to our country. Do you understand? That language stuck in his head, and he had to transfer it onto somebody else because he now has that albatross around his fucking neck forever.
who actually concluded this? The 9/11 Commission. September 11th, 2001 happened
What the fuck? Where's the no-fly zone? Get fucked.
in part, and they say this in the report, because our Congress doesn't worry about oversight, they worry about scandal. Issues designed to get maximum media attention. That's where they spend most of their time.
What? And first of all, is Infrastructure Week? Anybody?
Now, there are some exceptions to this.
Yes, Infrastructure Week. The infrastructure bill. Yes. The American Rescue Package.
Once again, Mark, everybody wants a no-fly zone. There's
No, they don't.
a lot that goes into that, and the one guy who seems to understand that the most is Marco Rubio,
What?
Republican from Florida.
What? And by the way, what is this doing? Why are you wagging back and forth like Zooey Deschanel?
Marco Rubio, Republican from Florida.
Are you and your colleagues now more open to a no-fly zone?
You know, look, a no-fly zone has become a catchphrase. I'm not sure a lot of people fully understand what that means. That means flying AWACS 24 hours a day. That means the willingness to shoot down and engage Russian airplanes in the sky. That means, frankly, you can't put those planes up there unless you're willing to knock out the anti-aircraft systems that the Russians have deployed, and not just in Ukraine, but in Russia and also in Belarus. So basically, a no-fly zone, if people understood what it means World War III.
Dude, this is what the Biden administration has been saying. What do you mean that he's the only person who fucking gets it? He's cribbing from their notes. This is self-evident to fucking everybody.
He's a very thoughtful law.
He put a Bible verse up after this. There was a Bible verse. I don't know if you noticed this. There's a Bible verse about it.
Maker, and he's done his homework.
Done his homework. Just because you don't know it and you don't watch anybody else doesn't mean he's the only person thinking this, Greg.
I appreciate that, especially.
Yeah, you do. That's why you appreciate it when Biden said it and Jen Psaki said it and fucking Keith Olbermann said it. Like, Jesus Christ, who the fuck doesn't know
As
this?
somebody who once flew in a no-fly zone over Iraq, Operation Southern Watch in the late 1990s. There's a lot that goes into that.
Yes, you flew in a no-fly zone against over a country that doesn't have an air force.
And it's not so easy. Maybe we'll do it. Maybe we won't.
We won't.
But he understands the ramifications. And I think everybody else needs to be reminded, me, you, everybody,
Yeah, we need to be reminded.
that when it came to protecting Ukraine, Donald Trump was the guy.
Trump administration decided to provide additional assistance to Ukraine in the form of lethal anti-tank missiles as they fight against Russian-backed separatists.
This administration has given lethal
Because the Congress made them
weapons, the Javelin anti-tank system, to Ukraine.
after withholding them.
This administration
This is all the shit he did. This is after they got busted.
has provided lethal weapons to the citizens of Ukraine to fight Russia aggression.
He did. You can look
He totally did. I mean, because he legally had
it
to.
up. Sometimes it's hard to find, but he did. And you can also look it up. It's definitely hard to find that Obama Biden turned off that lethal aid that Ukraine desperately needed.
Yeah. Because Yanukovych and they switched over to Poroshenko right after that, and they didn't know whether they could be trusted. And most of the stuff that they gave to Ukraine ended up in Russian hands.
President Obama met with Poroshenko afterwards at the White House.
Yeah, sorry. Is Zelensky president during this?
Said only non-lethal aid, however, would be provided.
We are providing non-lethal assistance. But the fact is, militarily, as Crimea demonstrated, Ukraine is outgunned.
Vice President Biden heads to Ukraine this week, offering moral support to go along with the non-lethal aid pledged by the United States.
That's something.
Yeah, fucko. That was right after Euromaidan. That was before Zelensky was president.
Isn't it? It really
Yeah, it's really something. It's almost like clocks move forward and calendars have days in them.
is.
It's almost like, it's weird. It's like March happens and then April happens and then May and then June and then July and then like 2013 happened and then 2014 happened and then after that was 2015.
And they never talk about it. It's all.
Yeah, they don't talk about it. They don't talk about stuff. I mean, honestly, when are we going to talk about the U.S. involvement in World War II before Pearl Harbor? You know what I mean?
Downplayed.
It's downplayed. Downplayed this, you twerp. Oh my God. They cut away. They think it's a zazing. Fucking hell.